What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the editing suite. I don't think I've shown you guys this part of the office yet. It's still a work in progress, but this is where I get most of my video editing done. I just love a good quiet space and natural lighting shining on me. It just makes me a little bit more productive. But today I want to go over a little bit more of a serious topic, and not necessarily serious, but more one-on-one, face-to-face of the process and the investment mainly of running a filmmaking or photography business. If you are a photographer or a videographer, you know one of your pet peeves is when you have to justify why you charge so much. And the average eye doesn't really understand why we charge the amount we do and what it takes to actually run one of these businesses. And today I just wanted to give you a little bit of a that's one of the benefits of working on a main street in a small downtown area. So that's why you hear all that background noise. One of my main goals as a business owner is to document my process of getting to where I am today and growing as a business. And not only that, but being transparent about what it actually takes to run a business. And today is one of those topics that I wanted to sit down and talk to you just a little bit more about and give you more insight on the actual investment it requires in order for you to start a photography or a filmmaking business. I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's kind of scary how much YouTube I watch actually, but I've never really seen a piece of content breaking down a business and its actual expenses month by month or annually. And I find this stuff really interesting. It's not necessarily the monetary value, but it's just seeing the processes and which, services they use in order to succeed in business. But before I break this down, any expense that I have, I want a positive return on investment, of course. If you're not looking for that as the main goal, then you're not running a business successfully. That out of the way, let's get down onto what it actually costs to run a video production business. And keep in mind, I'm just by myself. This would be much more if I had a whole staff of employees, of course, but this is just me being self-employed. This is how much it costs month by month on video production. Getting on into it, I've kind of labeled these into different categories, and my first category is software subscriptions, and you can easily be consumed and overwhelmed by this category of expenses. And it's easy to just sign up for a subscription, write it off, whatever, but make sure your expenses and your subscriptions are giving you a positive return. So here's the broken down list of what I pay for. My main software subscriptions helps with business operations, and my first one that always comes to mind is Honeybook. Honeybook is a CRM, customer relationship management, or client relationship management. I can't remember which one that is. And it helps me book and organize different clients and allows me to follow the threads of different emails instead of having things all over the place in Google Calendar. It's all in one spot. That's $40 a month, or that is $480 annually. I plan on doing a video a little bit more about CRM software and why it's important for your business later on, but stay tuned for that. And if you want to try out Honeybook for free, this is not sponsored by any way, but it's a fantastic customer relationship management software. The link's in the description below. So with business operations out of the way, the next thing is website. Your website is probably one of the most essential assets when it comes to your business, and it's important to invest in this as much as possible, because this is not only where your portfolio is, this is where your contact information is, a little bit about yourself, and basically how the consumer finds out who you are, learns more about your business, and builds trust to purchase whatever service or product you're offering. Me personally, and there is really no right answer, I personally pay for Squarespace Commerce, and what this allows me to do is host a website, and it also allows me to sell products in the future if I ever want to do that, or it comes with all these different features that I can't really name off, but it's a great service. I've never had a problem with it. It's easy to use. This is not sponsored. Squarespace, if you're watching, hit me up. But I absolutely love their service to death, and there's so many different influencers out there who are giving coupon codes and free trials or whatever. Go find one of those, try it out for yourself. I highly recommend it. Squarespace, I pay $26 a month or $312 annually, and it is worth every penny because I don't have to learn coding. It's very easy to use, and it ultimately gets the job done. Along with websites, I also pay for a service called GSuite, and this is $6 a month, and it basically lets you have your email, your domain, as your email. So mine is workwith@airdandwillhite.com. That's just the email I use, and I love the G Suite because everything is in one place, whether it's your Google Calendar, whether that's your Gmail, whether that's Google Drive, what are some other services that come to mind, your domains. Like it just has everything built in together, and paying all of that within one service is absolutely beautiful. I don't use any of the iOS apps like iCalendar or mail. That just, to me, just doesn't make sense when everything is in one ecosystem, and I love the Google ecosystem. So that costs me $6 a month, and along with that, I pay for a domain that's $12 a year, and I have multiple domains, so I could probably add this up. I have no idea how much it is now, but I pay $12 a year. Sorry about that. I pay $12 a year for each individual domain that I own, and I'll put them here. I have no idea what I own, to be quite honest with you, but all of them route to willhypeproductions.com. And within GSuite, I pay for 1 terabyte of cloud service. I love doing file transfers through Google Drive, although there could be a few glitches and kinks that need to be worked out. But other than that, I love GSuite for pretty much every business operation thing that I do. And last but not least, when it comes to business operations and specifically file storage, I use Backblaze, which is an unlimited cloud service that lets me upload as much as I want for $6 a month. And that's how I back up my whole computer. That's how I back up, all of my files is through Backblaze. It's constantly backing up to the cloud so I can feel safe and secure knowing that my storage and my files are okay. So the next set of online subscription services aren't necessarily have to do with business operations, but more of the creative process and the actual art of what I do and the services I provide. So the first one that comes to mind is Adobe Creative Cloud. That comes with Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere, After Effects, Bridge, Dreamweaver. It comes with the whole suite, of course, and I pay $25 a month or $300 annually for Adobe Creative Cloud. This is essential. I have to have this, so there's no getting around this cost, and it also helps me, it allows me to provide the services that I do. The next 3 software subscriptions are actually sound libraries. This allows me to have royalty-free music within each video that I produce, so I don't get a cease and desist or a copyright strike or whatever. It just, allows me to have the freedom to create content and not worry about any legal battles ahead. So my first sound library and my go-to sound library is Soundstripe. That's $15 a month, unlimited access, and I get most of my wedding video music from here. I have never really ran out of songs to pick from, which is very valuable when it comes to that. That's $15 a month. The next one is Artlist, which is $17 a month. That comes with so many different songs for corporate and vlog style. It's more upbeat, in my opinion. I can do a whole video on sound libraries. Soundstripe's more of a slow and majestic song pick or whatever, I don't know. And Artlist is more upbeat. It's more fun. That's where I get all my fast music from. And the last sound library, which is $15 a month, is Epidemic Sound. I love Epidemic Sound purely for one thing, and it's their sound effects library. And, I'd use sound effects off and on throughout different corporate projects or even wedding projects. I've started to implement them more into that production. So those are my 3 sound libraries that I choose from. So what's the point of making a video without delivering it? For that, I use Vimeo, which is $20 a month, and I love Vimeo to death. It automatically plays back in the fullest resolution it can because, if people go on YouTube and automatically goes to 480p, that's not really making a good first impression for your client. That's why I use Vimeo, and you can also make private links, of course, but I love Vimeo as well because of the download links. It's just very simple to use. You just send them the link and it automatically lets them download their video file. So Vimeo A+, I love it. It's not suited for everyone, but it really does fit my workflow. I totally forgot one more business operation software subscription that I use. That is Quickbooks. That is $15 a month. It helps me track my finances and everything. So when it comes to tax season, I'm ready to go without any hassle whatsoever. And Honeybook does have this feature, but Quickbooks is way more in depth when it comes to expenses. So the way I track things is all my income comes through Honeybook, and that handles credit card processing payments, and that's checks, cash, whatever. And then I get my expenses from QuickBooks, and then I can tally everything up, of course. So with online subscriptions out of the way, the next thing that comes to mind is equipment. And equipment can be kind of tricky because, yes, you could put all your money into it, but is it worth it? And that's strictly up to you. For me, these same cameras have been doing the job for 3 or 4 years now. They work perfectly, and I did that investment in college because I didn't have many liabilities in college or many expenses in college. So I got that taken care of early on, and now I focus more on things that will make my workflow more efficient, like microphone stand in here so I don't have to, sync up the audio, or my computer that helps me edit faster videos. And so that, it's all depending on what you want as a return on investment. But this does cost money every year. You can look up through my kit how much each thing that I own cost. It's not hard to go look up. but that can be a lot of money, especially month per month. So that is very essential to business. And it's also why photographers charge a little bit more than you'd probably expect, is because that equipment breaks. It will, I've had a camera drop. I've had cameras that have just completely crashed, the motherboard destroyed. That's $600 to $1,000 repairs. And, we photographers or videographers have to pay for that. So that's also built into our cost. And that's also built into our cost. So that's why our prices are where they're at. One thing that people honestly completely forget about is local storage. I mean, when we take your photo, or when we take a client's photo or video, it costs money to store. For example, each wedding that I film is an average of 300 gigabytes per wedding. And for me, I have 4 different 8 terabyte hard drives, which is insane. Each one represents pretty much a year and a half or so. And then others is local backups. And if you do the math, I haven't done it when I'm actually recording this, but it's right here. This is how much it costs to store a wedding or store a corporate project. And this can add up, especially, if you do 30 weddings a year like myself, it gets quite expensive. And that's just local storage. Imagine counting up the SD cards, which is right here. That's expensive. The next category is pretty much unavoidable expenses. These are the things that you have to pay for no matter what. And I've already talked about stuff that you pretty much have to pay for if you want to run a filmmaking or photography business, but this is unavoidable or jail time. One of those is a business license. Next comes business insurance. For me personally, it makes me feel a little bit more safe that I have liability insurance and property insurance in case one of my cameras breaks, or, my light stand falls over and hits somebody and breaks a leg. But tax services, like I use TurboTax, which is about $250 a year. That's just to name a few. I'm sure there's more if I actually think about it, but there's a lot of money involved when you want to run a business legally. More recently, I've gotten an office, so I pay for office rent and office internet, and also for the property insurance for the insurance that I just mentioned. So that adds up. And then also something that's super unavoidable and people don't really think about is the mileage on your car. Not necessarily the gas money, but the depreciation that your car takes for traveling so much for your business. Last year alone, I drove over 20,000 miles for business. That's a lot of miles, not only for that, but it depreciated my car quite a bit, which is why I try to make double payments on my cars, because my car is going to depreciate faster than anybody else, and it's going to be run down a whole lot faster than a normal person going to a job every day. And there's so many more expenses, but that's just to name a few essential expenses that I have to go through every month in order to operate a filmmaking or photography business successfully. Like I said beforehand, with every expense, it's very important to have a positive return on investment. For everything that I just listed off, it makes my money back. And so I would give any advice to any entrepreneur or business owner: go through your expenses. Are you really getting the value that you're paying for whenever you pay for a service or a subscription? I mean, I go through mine, I purge mine pretty much every month if there's something that I'm paying for and I'm not getting a return. Another thing to note, business owners and entrepreneurs put money into their business every year in order for it to grow and be successful. So this is why you see prices jump up every year. It's not due to inflation. It's not due to being greedy. It's because we want to invest back into our business. Plus, the more they invest, the more confident you should feel as a consumer. I mean, if you book me a year from now, by a year, I would have invested more than what you're booking me at that rate. So this is why you see people's prices jump up, is because they want to improve their business and ultimately give you, the consumer, a better value than what they had previously beforehand. And to wrap all of this together, you truly get what you pay for when you book a wedding videographer or a wedding photographer, because the more they're investing in their business, the more you as the consumer are getting out of their service. That's all I have today. I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe. There's 92% of the people that watch my videos right now aren't subscribed. So if you want to see more, hit that red button. But for now, see you next time.